Nguyelo numandenga, nguyelo numandenga, nguyelo umandenga, ngumutilo wesiswati.
Hello, everybody. This is God, and welcome to the AfricaNEV podcast, where we talk about sustainable energy and transport solutions for the African continent. Today, we want to talk about charging solutions for Ghana in particular. And our guest, as you can see on your screen, is Paul Badoo, who is the managing director of POBAD International Limited. Paul, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you very much, God. It's an honor to be on your platform and happy to share for viewers the great things that are happening in the EV world here in Ghana.
The great things. Wow. Okay, let's jump into it. So, how did you get into EVs and subsequently EV chargers?
Okay. Thanks again. Our journey began, I'll say, about 3 years ago.
That's 2018 or 2017.
That will actually be okay. So it's actually 2017. That's if I'll, way back 2017, where we had the opportunity to experience the use of electric vehicles. We, of course, had the opportunity to understand how the technology works, and also had the opportunity to learn about the cost-saving benefits using electric vehicles. Now, with knowing that, what happened was that we began to look at how we can introduce the technology into Ghana. Because as a technology firm, what we have done is to introduce technologies that have assisted solar. We have introduced technologies that have assisted water. And these are always high-tech technologies that we know make a change actually into the lives of people. So
that POBAD already has existing businesses in the technology space.
Yes. Yes, POBAD has done business in the past, of course, bringing down different technologies, which have assisted different sectors of business. Now, so in the area of transport, the EV technology, the whole use of electric vehicles is something we believe that is the future. And, once introduced into Ghana, it will really make a good impact on life of people here in Ghana.
Okay.
Actually.
Okay. So please continue.
Yes. So we began by running about a 3-year survey, and we of course did understand how various services, EV services, are being offered to customers across the world. We very know of the big companies who we have seen take the lead in other development. And for that reason, we had targeted to do same here in Ghana or across West Africa. Now, during the feasibility study, what we realized was that the main issue for Ghanaians who wanted to start using electric vehicles was the fact that there was no public infrastructure, that's a public EV charging infrastructure, to assist service to electric vehicle drivers when they are away from home. So in that area, we believe that we don't put the cart ahead of the horse by bringing down lots of vehicles and just tell people, okay, you can charge up at home, you know, when there's no good infrastructure that is actually done around the world. So we took it upon ourselves to come up with a service, charging service that best suits the Ghanaian culture, the Ghanaian market, and will be accepted by the Ghanaian people. For that reason, it took us a lot of years and months to come by selecting the right charging equipment to introduce, and then we moved on to you know, getting in touch with some of the governmental agencies who play part to the rollout of electric vehicles and the full promotion of it here in Ghana. For that reason, we a bold step was knowing that Ghana was a country which has excess power, made it an ideal place to kick off or start such a project. Now, when we spent time to work with the Electricity Company of Ghana, I must say they were excellent in getting us to understand what the current power issue was and how much what we were bringing on board will create demand, you know, that would offer, of course, take care of the excess power issue. So that blended in very well with their you know, targets of being able to create demand. And once we presented to them, we had as well spent the past 3 years talking to auto companies here, that's auto trading companies who are already in existence doing business here in Ghana, and encouraged them to, or had informed them that we were going to introduce EV chargers in Ghana. So we would employ or ask them to go ahead to start bringing in electric vehicles because of where we intend to go. So I would say that it was something that was really accepted by almost all the parties. All we had to do was to engineer or come up with a service that was beneficial to all partners that we're working with, being property owners, being individuals, service partners like the power companies. And I mean, once we put down our business model, it was perfect, I would say, for all parties involved. So we began with some installations. We got customers who have already brought in vehicles involved, and that also led from one thing to another until we did have an inauguration ceremony with the National Power Company, and it was made known to the public that as a company we are going ahead to ensure that there's a public electronic vehicle charging network to serve EV driving.
Okay, thank you very much for that introductory explanation. So we'll take it from there. First of all, I do have some questions about your submission, but let's unpack everything before we sort of go take a deep dive. So when you spoke about your charging solution, who is your ideal customer? The question is, the reason why I'm asking that question is because in Ghana, because we use 240 volts, we have level 2 charging part of the gate. So most people, especially with the high mileage EVs that we have now, can just afford to charge at home overnight, and then maybe every 3 or 5 days or so recharge also at home. So the people that normally will need charging. It may be somebody who got stranded inadvertently, the person left home with no charge in the city, or intercity drivers, people on the highway who really need something, or those who are living in apartments that they don't have access to charging on the ground floor. Okay, because obviously our houses and apartments have not been designed with EV charging in mind. So who is your target customer?
For POBAD, our target is actually everyone who drives an electric vehicle. Now, we are offering this service to customers in their homes. We're offering the service to them at their workplaces. We're going to offer the service to them at public locations and also along highways here in Ghana. Now, when we say
the four segments,
sorry,
okay. That's basically all the segments.
Exactly.
The four segments. Okay.
Exactly.
So let's break it down. Now, if you are saying you're offering Chinese solutions to those at home, that means that you're selling devices to them, as well as installation services, I presume.
Okay, so POBAD's business model does not sell chargers to customers because we do not believe that when you are trying to get people to move from or migrate from using fuel to electricity, you don't want them, no one spends money on buying a fuel pump and puts it out. So what we're doing is our technology, as I said, allows us to provide a pay-as-you-go service. So we don't see why we need to get the customer to pay for expensive fast chargers when, carry the entire initial cost. Then later, when the charger is damaged, maybe some years later, he needs to find money again and purchase the charger. Our model is a service. When we come in to install the charger for you at home, it's absolutely for free. Now,
charging as a service.
So it's more of charging as a service. Very correct. Now, our relationship with power companies, not only in Ghana, but as we grow, is that we are actually going to provide a new connection into the customer's house. Now, this connection that we provide to the customer's house is a separate connection which does not run through his existing meter or his existing distribution box. So there's a new meter that the power company introduces. We draw new lines to, let's say, the garage of the person. This is a connection straight to the grid. So that way, because there's a connection straight to the grid.
You mean you bypass the person's meter?
Exactly, because we are introducing a new meter which is coming from the power company. That's why we are into partnership with the national power company.
I get it. That's
now,
in Ghana.
So that way,
that's ECG in Ghana.
Yes, in Ghana here. Yes, in Ghana here, ECG. So that way, the customers do not have to bother about having to buy prepaid, having to calculate how much extra money they need to put onto their prepaid meters to have enough power for their home. Because it's a new connection and because of our relationship and the type of meters we install in the customer's house, they don't have to deal with that. There's in both. As long as there's power coming from the grid, there's going to be power available to them to charge. So all they will have to do is to swipe their card or use their mobile phone to make payment on the charger for as many hours as they want to charge. Once they charge, power runs through, they are done, they unplug and put it back into their vehicle, put it back onto the charger holder.
Okay. So let's hang on to that. We'll talk about payments later. That's a very good topic. Now, if I understand you correctly, what we are saying is basically the customer wants to go back. I have, I don't know, a VW ID3. I need a charger in my house. POBAD will take care of everything.
That's right.
The customer now will think about, okay, how much you have to get this, chasing the power company, because this is Africa.
Exactly.
You don't have to go through all that hassle.
No hassle at all.
Just a request from POBAD. POBAD will make sure that everything is delivered to you.
Exactly.
You need a separate connection.
And a
So
separate
your normal light bill will not go up, it will still be maintained. POBAD will take care of the voltage requirements, current requirements, everything. You don't have to think about that.
Exactly.
All you have to think about is how to pay as you use.
As you use it, basically that.
So that is clear. For this for home,
whether for home,
is it the same for residential? Sorry, for commercial buildings.
Yes.
So like commercial buildings, we're talking about office buildings, public buildings, like the malls, the apartments, the hotels, the airport. These are commercial buildings. Now, and so let me ask another question. Are we talking about AC charges or DC charges for residential and commercial places? And for our audience, maybe you are thinking about buying an EV and you are wondering the whole, basically for AC charges, they are slow compared to DC charges. DC charges, they are very fast. Like the Tesla supercharger network is a DC charging system. Okay, so which one is it? Are we talking about?
Okay, so POBAD is going to introduce both into Ghana, that's AC and DC, and then we will provide AC chargers in residential locations. Part of the reason why we will fully do that is because if we want to provide a customer who's driving, let's say, a Tesla Model S, has 100 kilowatt battery, it means that if we want to provide him with a 120 kilowatts, we need to get him a separate transformer before he can use that. Now, practically, if you are one who has followed the EV industry, you will clearly know that charging is normally done overnight. Charging is normally done at a time when you are doing something else. That is the concept about electric driving or using electric vehicle. Charge while something else. So if you're going to have a 4 or 5 hour sleep or 6 hours sleep, that is almost more than enough for some vehicles to charge overnight. So why give the person a DC charger, which is going to charge his house, which is going to charge his car in 30 minutes in his home? That doesn't make much sense to us.
So what about the commercial side? Because apart from those in maybe an office building, so the person is at work. Okay. Even at work, limited parking spaces. So one person cannot charge his car for 5 or 4 hours when there are, I don't know, maybe 5 charging stores and 50 cars. All right. So that one too is a problem. Then most especially the commercial build spaces, like the malls, for example, where maybe I'm going to buy something in the shop. 5, 10, 15 minutes, I'm done. Meanwhile, there's high traffic zone. I cannot afford to be have a DC charger here. Are these chargers for these commercial spaces also?
Okay, so it's going to be a mix. For workplaces, there will be AC chargers, and based on the volume of electric vehicles that the company has, we will give them a DC charger as well. So one company, like a company with, I would say a minimum of 10, 15 electric vehicles, definitely will also have a DC charger, because we know definitely that they would want to do some quick charging and then run out back and forth. However, the AC chargers are going to also do the same job where they will charge overnight. Now, some companies, of course, allow their drivers to come back after work, 5 or 6 o'clock, and park the vehicle within the premises. So when the driver parks the vehicle, it's going to definitely take another 6 hours, which will be morning, about 5 a.m. or 4 a.m. before they come back to pick up the vehicle to drive. So the trend, the same as at outside, in developed countries where electric vehicles are highly used, is there's a lot more dependence on AC chargers than DC chargers, to be very honest. Because majority of the time, if you're driving a Hyundai Kona, which is giving you about 450 kilometers in a day.
Is that EPA range or which range are you putting on any DC?
The Hyundai Kona.
Yes, for our audience. It's very important to always ask, if someone gives you an EV range, always ask the person which standard they are using.
Exactly.
Okay, that's why this is the EPA. I always say this, so it's an opportunity to say this to those of you watching. Always ask which standard they are using.
Exactly.
It's not like the petrol range. So which standard?
That is for WLTP.
Okay. So
yes.
we can chop off 50% of that range. Yes. Please, and I'm not joking.
Oh, no, you're right.
Because I know that those who will be watching this video, a lot of them are thinking about buying EVs. You buy an EV, then you have some smart guy tell you that, oh, the car is 400 range, 400 kilometer range, and you believe him.
Exactly.
But you didn't know that depending on the standard they you calculate the range.
That's right.
The real world range may be different. Then you take a journey
Exactly.
to I don't know wherever, 400 kilometers. Then around 350 kilometers, you are out of charge.
Exactly. Exactly. Interestingly, the manufacturer actually pegs their range to 470. Interesting.
Okay.
Yes. That's why I have just pegged it at 450 because I'm very much aware of that. Secondly, secondly, when you are looking at the ratings, I would also chip in by saying that our weather conditions are a bit different from that outside, because outside they have to deal. They have to. Yes, ours is more ideal.
Ours is more ideal.
Yes, ours is more ideal. So you are. Yes, exactly. Anybody who knows about EVs very much will tell you they perform better in summer, in the summertime and here in Ghana, I mean, it's summer like, I'll say 8 months of the year. So it's that's right. So that's our plan. We intend to get the AC chargers, especially into workplaces and residential locations. But for the DC chargers, yes, you're going to see them at public locations along highways. We're having lots of conversations with OMCs who are interested in having us put our chargers, on their premises along some of the highways.
And by OMCs, you mean oil marketing companies?
Exactly, oil marketing companies. Yes, yes. Those who have the outlets to serve customers, because what we are doing is having a relationship with them, letting them know that they are migrating their outlets from just being traditional fuel outlets to now vehicle service or hybrid stations. In that area, of course, when somebody drives in there, he can have access to electricity to charge his EV. He can have access to fuel, diesel, all of that. So that is the arrangement or the discussions that we as a company are having with oil marketing companies. So yes, DC chargers will be seen a lot more at public locations like the malls and especially along the highway at OMC outlets. But I would also say that because, as I said, people spend a lot more time at at home or at workplaces, that is where a lot more of the charging happens. If you are going to, let's say, the mall, sorry.
More than 80% of all charging happens.
Sorry, I think I missed you.
More than 80% of all charging takes place at home.
Yes.
Or in the office. I think that it is a very huge concept that people in Ghana and Africa at large are yet to understand.
Exactly.
The feeling that, oh, the ratio is 1:1. So if I used to buy petrol all the time outside, then it has huge financial and business implications.
Correct. Very correct.
Let's take it at this. It seems to me, from what you have said so far, that your business model is structured around scalability. So the idea is to grow with the market. So it's meant to be flexible. So it now gives a method to the madness because, like I was telling you earlier, some of the OMCs, their view is until we have the cars, enough of the cars to give a significant market, we are not going to invest in charging. I don't know. I mean, I suspect we have less than 20 EVs as at the ending of last year. I suspect this year the number will be approaching 50 around that. But
I would say it's a bit more than 20.
Now, no, in January, as of now, I suspect it will be more.
Way more, yes.
We're hitting 50, but as of last year,
we are close to 50. Yes, you are very correct.
Yeah,
we are close
as of last. Oh, we know what is going on in the market.
Because mind you, sorry, just to cut in, but mind you, I do add the plug-in hybrids. I also do add the plug-in hybrids because the customers who drive the plug-in hybrids say they would want to use that a lot more than fuel. So I still count plug-in hybrid customers as part of the game. The only challenge for them is say a network. They don't have a network to charge, so that's most of the complaints.
I would say that the plug-in hybrid market, especially for America, is a phantom market.
Yeah.
In the sense that is the reason they give that because they're not charging stations, so that is why I'm driving plug-in hybrid. But what those people quickly realize is that driving on the electric drivetrain is actually better.
Yes,
so immediately they start pining for a full EV.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Number two, they quickly realize that for their daily driving, most, if not all, can be accomplished on the EV drivetrain. So therefore, getting an EV with, I don't know, over 300, 400 kilometers of range is more than enough for their city rounds, as well as quite a number of their intercity travels. I mean, from Accra to Kumasi is 260 something. Okay, I can't remember the exact figure, but it's less than 270 kilometers.
Oh yes, way less. Yes.
So it's a phantom market. Anyway, let us move on.
Let me just add to the what I was talking about concerning how our connections is at residential, because I did mention that we provide or introduce a new connection into the customer's residence. Now, POBAD as a company, our key aim is to ensure that charging is available everywhere. Now, with that in mind, the type of connection we introduce into an individual's home, of course, electricity not running through the person's existing meter. For that reason, Mr. Gad, if you have a POBAD service in your house and you drive an electric vehicle, I, as your friend, if I came over to your house and I need to charge, I guess you will comfortably allow me to charge because it has no effect on your existing or meters, the consumption of power that you have on your meter. I guess I'm correct. You'll definitely let me go ahead.
Oh, you mean because of the cost implications?
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Okay.
So for that reason, if I came there and POBAD had a charger in your house, I'll just go ahead, swipe my card, and also charge. Maybe if I'm spending an hour at your house, I could do the same thing there and just charge comfortably without you having a problem. Now, for that reason, we know the Ghanaian culture. There are times a friend comes over, oh, can I use X of yours? Can I do? So that is why we decided.
Your age.
Sorry?
Your frying pan. Your friend has come. You have to use your salt. You have to use your egg. Your frying pan.
Exactly.
I get it. I get it.
So that is why we've done that. Now, in that respect, it also makes it possible for you to travel to, let's say, Sunyani. You don't know anyone there, but you can call a friend to ask him. That is when EVs have grown. You can call a friend to ask, oh, do you know anyone in Sunyani who has maybe an EV charger in his home that you can recommend and can allow me to charge there? I'll be able to go to the person's house, swipe, and charge. So I would not necessarily, in quotes, feel stranded. When POBAD service has been rolled out in almost every residence in Ghana, there will be too many locations for EV drivers to charge out. And that whole point of driver anxiety will be over. So that is why we partner with the National Power Company to be able to introduce such a service in any country we're going to grow beyond Ghana.
Okay.
The same as in an office. When your friend drives to your office and needs a charge, your boss is not going to be angry with you because your friend came over to charge. After all, what you do into the company is electricity consumption, so everybody is fine. That is part of.
Yeah. Prove that you're a true Ghanaian.
It's all part of the 3-year feasibility study we did, and that is part of the results we got from that point. In case I find myself somewhere and I need to charge, what happens? I can call a friend who has a POBAD service and go and charge.
Well, this is all very well and good in hands-on. Let me ask another hands-on question. So, in terms of payment is a very big topic. Overhead, you say something about card, you say something about phone. How is payment structured? Okay, what will I need in order to access the network? We have to verify that I have been paid in order to, shall I say, make complaints if I feel shortchanged. So sometimes maybe you pay 30 Ghana cedis, and then what reflected is 10 Ghana cedis, or vice versa, whichever way.
Okay, so with the POBAD service, per manufacturers that we work with, each of our charging stations comes with embedded POS terminals on them. Now, point of sale terminals, very correct. Now, with that advantage, once we have come into a country and we have integrated locally, we will be able to accept payment via Visa or MasterCards, which have been issued by banks, that's credit or debit cards. POBAD also has its own prepaid card, that we sell to customers. With that prepaid card, they will be able to load money onto the card, and once they get to the charger, they would follow the process and use the card for payments. When we do further integration, we provide a QR code where once you scan with any of your QR code apps on your phone, or maybe once you switch on, some phones today have that service embedded in their cameras. Once you turn on your camera app and you scan the barcode or the QR code that will show on our digital screen on the charger, it will open up our online portal to allow you to make payments with Visa, MasterCard, or even mobile money. So customers will have the opportunity.
I was going to talk about that because Ghana, we are famously cash heavy society, and
That's
now
right.
increasingly mobile money. So if a payment, I don't know how many people use Visa and MasterCard. I'm talking about the elite of the elite. But we do know that a lot of people who can afford these cards are not technologically oriented.
Exactly.
Majority of people can afford these cards are not technologically oriented. So if you cannot pay using mobile money or via cash, that is a huge
That's a challenge, exactly.
yeah.
So fortunately for us, our POS terminals allows for that. So once the person scans the QR code that displays on the digital screen, it opens up the portal to allow you to enter your mobile money number and then press pay, or enter the amount you are paying for. And then once you press pay, it takes that straight away from your mobile money account, and the charging process begins on our charges. That's how simple ours is. So ours deals with the QR code. Once you scan the QR code, you can download any QR code app. Once you scan it, it will open the browser to allow you to enter your.
So let's say if I have a request your service, how will I get a QR code on my phone? You have to install an app or this QR code. I'm thinking in terms of plug and play, like
Yes.
How
So
I mean you think of everything, then the next time I can just plug. I'm charging.
yes. Okay, so per the technology of the charger, what I have currently is that, as I said, you can download any QR code app, or some phones today have that embedded in their camera app. So once you tap on your camera app on your phone, it just will you point it towards the screen of the charger. It will just allow the scanning, and once it scans it, it will just pop up your browser asking you which one you want to pay with, whether MTN or Momo or Vodafone Cash. We have a list of options that you can, and we even have Visa and MasterCard even in that platform as well.
So the workflow is like the normal mobile money that we use here in Ghana.
Sorry?
The workflow for the payment is like the normal mobile money.
Yes, if you've used yes, so once the QR code scans, it will pop up in a browser on your phone, on the browser on your phone. It will pop up the payment options, whether you want to use Visa, you want to use MasterCard, you want to use mobile money, that's Vodafone Cash, Tigo Cash. You're going to see all of them listed in the options. So once you tap on mobile money, it will ask you for your mobile money number and the amount you are paying for. So you enter the amount you are paying for and then press pay. And straight away, you will get a notification on your phone that that amount has been deducted from your mobile money account, or has been held.
I think the simplest solution to this is we will do a trial.
Exactly.
Physically, then we can make a video and then load it for those who are interested to see how the process goes.
Exactly.
So
however, sorry, just to share that. However, we are advising customers who are coming on board and are going to be importing their vehicles. That as much as mobile money is going to work, it's electronic cash. I'll put it that way. As much as that is going to work, we still recommend that you should try to get the prepaid card, just in case you find yourself maybe on some part of one of the highways where we may have a charger in a remote area. In case there is no signal on your phone, just in case, you can easily or quickly use the prepaid card to swipe, and you should be good to go. So we are providing both options. However, the prepaid card option also works perfectly for companies, that's for their drivers, because they will always be able to load money onto the card, and their drivers will have no problem having to swipe and go ahead to charge wherever they go. The cards are secure. There's no way they will be able to take money off the card like it's done with existing stations where people can take money off and get. This will be impossible because with EVs, the self-service, so you do not have anyone to give you that money. Yeah.
So anyway, that's a comment. That
Yes.
gives you a feeling that there are some places that we plan like installing chargers that doesn't have like cellular reception. Then aside, please.
It doesn't have
reception for the cell network. Anyway,
what I mean is that cell network on your phone, but for us, our machine.
I know.
We do direct satellite communication on each of our chargers. So all our chargers are always active, but then we are saying that on behalf of the customer, in case that happens for the customer. Because just to further explain, along the highways, the initial stage, like I was saying to the OMCs, is that some locations we are looking at starting every 50 kilometers, there'll be a charger. Every 50 kilometers along the highway, there'll be a charger. That's very.
The distance is very short.
Yes, it's because you will not know who may have an issue where. As we upgrade,
I think. Please, okay. Let's reserve that for now. I wanted to stay on topic. Maybe we can do a part 2 and talk about usage.
no problem.
We can talk more about that. But for now, we want to give the key points. Now, let's talk about billing. We are talking about paying. Okay?
Yes, paying. Sure.
And now let's talk about how the amount you pay or you have to pay is calculated. Now, there are all basically tools. It can be time-based. So maybe if you charge for 3 hours, then you charge for the 3 hours a week. Or it can be usage-based. So you can have 2 people charging. One person may spend 1 hour, another person may spend 2 hours. But the person spending 1 hour is actually taking more energy than the person who spent 2 hours. So that person's amount that he or she has to pay, will be more than the person who spent even twice the amount, because that person used less or took less energy. Which is your billing model based on? Time-based or quantity-based?
Okay, so ours is time-based. Now, the reason for time-based is because here in Ghana, no one is given the authority to sell kilowatts of power to anybody. Now, it is part of why we went through the national utilities to get that right. Initially, when we were in our design and in our design stage, we did our billing at a kilowatt. And the great thing that this relationship with the power company did was to alert us that in the country Ghana, no one is mandated to sell power by kilowatts. If you are found, you will be jailed.
For our non-Ghanaian audience, what Paul is talking about is basically in Ghana, utility rates are regulated, including electricity. So I think quarterly, it's a very called or regulator called Public Utilities Regulatory Commission. I think I'll put their link below the description. That publishes a schedule of fees that we must pay for electricity, and that is what the various utilities use, who in turn pay their suppliers, the power generation companies, as well as the transmission company, that's BidCo. So that's what Paul is talking about. But you know, I have a serious problem with that, because once it is time-based, I mean, you can easily overpay.
Okay.
So how are you ensuring that you don't take advantage of your customers' real and potential?
All right. So great. What it is that now, because it is time-based, you would see how much kilowatts is being offloaded onto your vehicle. Now, there are some confidentialities in that respect, because we do have the national agency who are monitoring what our billing already is. Now, what I'll say is that, yes, of course, there is a service charge in there. There's the taxes in there, and the amount that goes to the power company as well, which is all embedded into hourly charge that is put out by POBAD with customers. Now, for that reason, POBAD has already begun. You know, we're pushing with the power company to have fixed, to allow us to get to the point where we have fixed tariff rates for electric vehicles that are going to charge. So there will come a time where we will be off that, the time-based billing procedure, and it will become a tariff billing procedure that is incorporated or given to us by the PURC. So what our billing structure now is still being monitored at the highest level of government agency, because our network has a back end that the power company use consumption and all of that. So it's impossible, because we have, that's part of the requirements to be an operator. Yes, you need to.
The visibility, basically.
Exactly.
Because from what I understand, all the service stations are linked together via satellite.
Yes.
So that they are all IoT enabled, so we are able to see at your back end what peak charging station you're doing at any particular time. You share the information with your partner, the ECG.
This partners, exactly.
However, I would say, this is for those of you watching, that what this means is that if you have two vehicles, the situation on the ground now, it means that if you have two cars, the one with the higher charge rates for the EVs, that person may end up paying less.
No.
So those of you who are thinking about buying,
no.
That's what it means. Because okay,
so
unless the charge rate is constant for all.
Yes. Okay. So exactly. So what we okay. So during a period with the national power companies, all these questions came up, and that was part of what helped us build with the manufacturer right now. So with the AC chargers that we are installing, these are AC chargers coming with wired. They are already wired AC chargers, so it is going to be one.
Are they all level 2?
Yes, all of ours are level 2. That's
Okay,
for AC.
then that problem doesn't arise.
Yes,
But
that's
with
for,
the
now
DC
I'm coming.
charging,
Yes, now I'm coming to DC.
yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
now
that's what the problem is going to be.
yes, let me come to DT. So for POBAD, our manufacturer, what we have done is we have a DC charger, which we would say will provide, let's say, 240 kilowatts. That's the capacity of, yes, 200. Yes, 240 kilowatts. Okay, so I'll say yes, that's the maximum speed, 240. But our DC chargers are split. That's the models, the power models in the DC charger are split into.
So are you saying that, let's say, if you take one store, there are maybe there are 2 connectors, and
Yes.
all the 2 connectors share that one store. So even though the theoretical speed is 250, if 3 people are charging at the same time, they may have to split the power into 2. So
Okay, no.
Is that what you're saying?
So our DC charger, when I say it's when I
It
say
seems like we are beginning to get into the weeds now.
yes. When I say ours is a 240 kilowatts, what it means is that you are constantly going to have 120 kilowatts going to CCS2, the CCS2 cable. It will, that is what is built for the equipment. For CCS, it's always 120. Now, the CHAdeMO and GBT side also takes the other 120 kilowatts. However, CHAdeMO 60. However, 60 kilowatts, because we all know CHAdeMO is not as high. I think the new ones are going to have that much power, but then CHAdeMO and GBT share the next 20 kilowatts. Meaning that if the person is using GBT, he's always going to get a constant 120. Then when the person is using the CHAdeMO pot, he's going to get 60. Now, our chargers allows you to select. So the charger is an intelligent charger. So when you select or when you pick up the GBT gun and you plug it into the vehicle, the machine knows very much that you are requesting for GBT service. You have service for the GBT. The pricing on the DC charger, which is on the POS terminal, positions itself ready to give you the cost of what is going for GBT.
Okay.
So that 120, which is coming to your vehicle, the exact pricing for GBT, because you selected a GBT gun and that's what you have plugged in, gives you that constant amount. When you take,
so therefore, what they are saying is that each charging standard has its own weight. So CHAdeMO has its own weight.
exactly.
CCS has its own weight. GBT has its own charging.
However, it's not so far off. The pricing is virtually the same. It's not far away. I'll put it that way. It's not. I would say it's not a price that is like, let's say, so. No, because of course kilowatts, it's kilowatts, and the time what we are spending on data, because the machine must communicate within that 1 hour or 30 minutes that the customer is charging. That's part of our service fee. So the customer, as I said, all that is embedded into the cost, and when you pay this cost, so the customer will be able to select for 15 minutes on the DC chargers. He can select for 15 minutes. He can select for 30 minutes. He can select for 45 or 1 hour. Basically, that's how it is on the DC charger. However, on the AC charger, it is 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 or 4 hours. That is how the pricing is set. So how long it's going to take you. You know the battery, you know the battery of your vehicle, you know how long it's going to take. If I need, since it's a 120 constant power to CCS, if I plug in CCS2, I know that 120 divided by 4, meaning I'm going to offload 40 kilowatts every 15 minutes onto the vehicle. Meaning that if I'm driving and I realize my battery has gone below, if my battery is a 160, sorry, it's a 120 kilowatt battery, I know that once I am at, I would say I have about, is it 80? If I have about 80 kilowatts of battery, it means that when I go to plug into a POBAD DT charger, I need to charge for 15 minutes because it's going to give me 30 kilowatts out of that time frame. Basically, that's how it is.
But for that, I would say it doesn't eliminate the problem entirely. What
Sorry?
all is doesn't eliminate the problem entirely. All that this means is that we must make sure the utility regulator gets abreast of the time. So the policy has to change. Everything else is skirmishes, basically, trying to give a peak, a beautification. Okay, it's not going to work because, for example, the CCS2, if the charge rate is 120, imagine my car can take only 60 out of that 120. The charging system on the car. So the charger can go at 120, but the car itself charging system is not able to take the entire 120. I hope you understand. There are situations where the opposite is the case. So maybe the car can take 240.
So if I can explain,
okay.
with that 120, what we are saying is that your vehicle offloads 120, you get that 120 in an hour.
Yes.
Yes.
But right now, my car can take 60 in an hour.
Yes, your car can take 60 in an hour. Meaning that when you are selecting what you want to pay for, you will select 30 minutes. Because if my car can take 60 and the amount of power which will be offloaded within an hour is 120 kilowatts. I don't know if you get my point.
I think you misunderstand my point. Okay. You see, I am not talking about the capacity of the battery. Okay?
Sure. Yes, okay. On board, okay, I get you.
The rate
yes.
of transmission. Okay? We're not talking about the reservoir. We are talking about two things.
That's right.
Pumps, pumping water through a pipe to two different reservoirs. All the two pumps can pump 150 gallons in 1 hour.
That's right.
Now, the two reservoirs can take, let's say, 500 gallons. Okay?
Exactly.
So in an hour, both reservoirs are not going to be full if they were empty to begin with. But I'm saying that for the two tanks, the pipe is big enough to take the 120 gallons in 1 hour. The other one, the pipe can only take 60 gallons in an hour. I hope you understand. So it is a function of the intermediary device. Okay?
Yes.
Because apart from the external charger, all the cars also have their own internal chargers.
Exactly.
So there are instances where both the external charger and the internal charger have the same speed. But most of the time, one will be higher than the other. That is why they have to talk with each other and agree on the speed. I hope you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get you.
So I am saying that problem, the solution you have come up with, is a very ingenious approach. But you see, you cannot address the fundamental problem because the fundamental problem has only one source. That is the regulator.
Exactly. Meaning, of course,
Okay.
the use of
So
the kilowatt.
we have to focus our energies on the regulator. You know,
Meaning
this is one of
the
our main policy advocacy.
That's
Okay,
right.
because they must be educated. Then they
Check.
must come to the point that they accept the reality.
Yes.
Then they cannot begin to plan. You
Yes.
see, for a long time, when you talk to them, they will just laugh. They say, I'm telling you, you see,
You're very correct.
you were in we were on the ground.
You are very correct. I mean, we have.
We are madmen and women who are just high polluting ideas. Or in this in Africa, it's only, I would say, after the COVID-19, and
Mhm.
people are, hey, this is the thing talking about, hey. And this year has been interesting because other people are like, oh, it's a good, you know, I'm really considering, I want to even go solar, so the batteries, so this, be that as it may, I think we have addressed a lot of the major issues when it comes to charging. But I want to know your partners addressing the ECG.
Okay. ECG. Okay.
Company from Ghana.
Yes.
What you have told us earlier about the regulator and the relationship. When somebody engages POBAD, okay, what is the nature of the relationship? Is the person having a relationship with POBAD directly, or the person having a relationship with ECG through POBAD? People is it?
Okay.
I
So
don't
the
know
person
what.
has. Yes. So the person has a relationship rather with POBAD, not
Oh,
with.
okay.
Yes. Not
Very,
with.
very important.
Yes.
Number two, when it comes to the equipment,
Yes.
I know that all your equipment will come from the same source. And because we don't make things here in Ghana, there's no guarantee that at any particular time we have everything in stock. What is the process like when you apply? Is it like maybe when you apply within a day, a week, a month, a year, you will get the equipment? If there are issues with the equipment, what's the process like? Give us an idea.
Okay. So with POBAD, our manufacturers for the equipment we bring into Ghana do have a minimum of 5 years of warranty minimum. Now, for that reason, we are not necessarily going to be repairing charges. We are going to be replacing.
Okay.
Now this means that the technology is developing so fast in the charging technologies that
Yes, it's becoming a kid. What we have currently will become a
because we do have another manufacturing partner and who will together we're going to introduce few wireless chargers this year. So just to let you know that is part of the reason why we don't see the essence to allow customers to purchase, because the technology is growing. It's going to keep growing. And we will be able to upgrade the existing chargers, make them wireless chargers.
no cost to the customer.
Sorry?
At no cost to the customer. So by going the way of the charging as a service model, we are reducing the customer's risk. So, but the hidden risk to that is how soon would the upgrade come? Because you see, we are not sitting on the river of money as an organization. You have limitations. I mean, I'm just throwing it out there. I'm not saying anything apart from just throwing it out there as a genuine concern that anybody thinking these things to have to address. Anyway,
just to say with that one,
okay.
we have done the cross communication within manufacturing partners, and to be very honest, when we have to upgrade to wireless on our end, it will just be one thing that we take off that allows the machine to become a wireless.
Okay.
However, we do have a charger built. We do have the chargers which are built wireless, so that by the time we have moved into the wireless space, we will definitely be installing that for a lot of customers. But for the customers who have the current plug wired chargers, we will do it with an upgrade. We'll be able to just change a particular component of the charger, and then it becomes a wireless charger. Once it has served its years of warranty, we will then upgrade them to the next, which is the new wireless chargers. And it's coming to.
So, for those of you wondering what is talking about wireless charging and all that, basically, I'm sure we all know about the electromagnetic spectrum. So, if you're transmitting something, all the TV signals and all that, they use the electromagnetic spectrum. And it's an energy, it's an energy transmission medium. Okay, and we're talking about energy in an electrical form. So it's not so strange. In fact, it's a known concept. If you are using radio, if you are listening to radio before, I mean, we are all using the electromagnetic spectrum, and by indicating the electromagnetic force. All right. The only thing is that they use bare wires that are being coiled to do that. So your car must have it. Then the charging plate will also be there. In fact, it's a very interesting technology. You can put it in concrete. I mean, it's very flexible. Anyway, on that note, let's talk about charging standards. My baby. I can tell you enjoying the interview.
Oh, it's going great. It's going great. I mean, I've always said it's good we are able to put out enough information to educate a lot of people, because a lot of people need education. You know.
That is actually why I made the comment I made, because the way you're enjoying the interview, it tells me something.
Hmm.
You know, it's like you're talking to people, you don't seem to have any idea of what we are talking about. It's like you're on the moon or Mars or something. Then one day you meet somebody, you say, hey, the person understands. Ah! Yeah, somebody.
Asking the question, where have you been?
So I get it.
Exactly.
I get it. I've been your position several times, so I know. Yeah. So the charges.
Yes, standard.
Clearly, we have GBT plus. We have CCS2. Yes, CCS1.
Yes, I mean there's CCS1. No. So okay, so for us as POBAD, what we do is that we provide adapters. We're going to providing adapters to be able to do the CCS2 to CCS1, to be able to serve customers who have vehicles with CCS1 ports. Currently, the AC chargers as well. We do have adapters at the site, which will do the conversion from type 2, type 1, and then also from type 2 to AC. So when you go at our stations, yes, there's another adapter cabinet that we have these adapters in them.
So all these charging stations for the residential, the AC ones, what's the standard plug.
The standard plug is type 2.
Type 2.
Yes, that's the standard.
So, for those of you listening, we have all manner of chargers, charging plugs, a bit like your mobile phone.
Yes.
You have the USB-C, you have the Android, you have the iOS. Okay, so just like you cannot plug an Android device into an iOS device because the pin is different. It's the same for the cars too. So the cars coming from America have CCS1, the ones from the CCS1, the ones from Japan has GBT, so you can import the design from Japan. Sorry, it has Kademo.
No. Yes,
then China is GBT.
Exactly.
So
China, India is GBT.
Yeah, India is Germany, So what's happening is that we have this, somebody called it the Wild West, where everybody is doing whatever they like. And it seems to me that in trying to solve that problem, you are forced to reinvest, to invest extra, make an investment, just to solve that problem.
Exactly.
What would you say to that?
Ideally, it's taking a toll on us. I must be very honest.
We are trying to be diplomatic. Straight question. Will you be happy with one charging standard for Ghana?
Definitely, if there was one charging standard, it best suits or makes it
Will
easier.
it make your life easier?
Yeah, exactly. It will make it
For customer acquisition, for investment, for infrastructure, for lead times.
And you don't have to
when you
go training customers, you don't have to talk too much.
Okay, so I'm asking because we are coming to recruit you. Yes, the bigger problem you see is charging standards for Africa, and it's not another problem; it's a continental problem. I always say because I mean they're talking about a big industry. Ghana, we import out something cars. We are rounding error. Okay, nobody who's serious about what they are doing will make a decision based on us. So unless we make a collegiate decision, the authors of the free trade agreement, we are just sticking with ourselves.
Exactly.
All right. So we would like your input when as an appointment our on that call. And also, I would say that with the wireless charging, it is convenient sounding, but there are also technical challenges, especially for our space.
Exactly.
You know, you go and put the wireless somewhere, somebody come and approve. I mean, we don't want to go there. So I think I'm almost done with the major questions. We have spent over an hour.
Exactly.
Very interesting conversation. But anyway,
I could just share something on the standards issue.
Okay.
It's
I'm very passionate about standards.
Exactly. I would have loved if, yes, as I said, we stuck to one standard. Now, the challenge about that, because, when we came in, we brought in the type 2. That's what we wanted, to try to reach across board. But then we had customers who called us, I imported a Nissan Leaf from the US, and, it's type 1. So you have that, at your station. And to be very honest, I would say we lost about 3 customers in that space when they asked us for type 1. And I said, well, no, we don't have, but we are getting because that informed us to get the adapters. Then our auto trading partners came in, and they came in with a vehicle which had a Type 2. So,
I'm saying that that's what there is something about civilization that solves a lot of problems.
That solves a lot of problems.
What the problem you are describing is only possible because as a nation we don't have a definite standard. Because if the government of Ghana says that from henceforth, if you are importing an EV or manufacturing an EV and the EV is supposed to be used in Ghana, this is the charging standard.
Exactly.
There's no way you can bring a car with a different charging standard. And there's no way anybody can put a charging solution to think about different charging standard for their charging stations. It's just not the problem. But this now everybody has to dance and twist themselves on top. I mean,
I agree with that point 100%. One other thing we were challenged or faced with was, people have preference when it comes to comfort. And the interior comfort speaks to some customers. So we've had
cars are emotive.
Sorry?
Cars are emotive and also aspirational. So you see my car, then you know my level.
Exactly. So you got people who are saying, "Oh yeah, he drives a Land Cruiser, but the interior is not leather. He doesn't have a sunroof. It's not brown wood." Some people have that thought that, look, if I'm getting a Land Cruiser, it must have screens, it must have this quality of leather, brown leather. I don't want beige leather. I don't want black leather. I think we have been exposed to too much, different tastes. So that has gotten us over the years to want to have, some, particular taste. So, yes.
You're talking about a poor country.
Sorry?
You're talking about citizens of a poor country in quotes.
Sorry, I missed you.
I'm saying that you're talking about citizens of a poor country in quotes.
Well. And look at it. I mean, when we started, we were talking about gears we began cars with 4 gears, then we moved to cars with 5 gears, 6, and then we went automatic. Everybody says now you need to drive an automatic car. It's just something that you think about, and you can try hard to fight it, but it's difficult. So on the level of auto trading companies, I expect that we can get that with them. That if we can push let's say the Type 2 European agenda with them on the level of the auto trading company, because like the Hyundai Kona, which was given to us by Hyundai Ghana Investment Limited, theirs was a car coming from the UAE. There was a Hyundai Kona electric coming from the UAE, and UAE has the same standard as Europe and Korea. So it made it very easy. Once we connected our ports, it began to charge right away. But then with the customers who are driving the Nissan Leaf, as I said, we needed to provide these additional adapters, which cost us additional, putting additional money to be able to serve them. So let's hope we can come to some standard. If we can tell manufacturers who are sending cars to Africa to give us American quality, but then European plugs, if that is possible,
American quality, European plugs.
Okay, so American quality in terms of interior, because you do have a lot of American cars.
In other words, Europeans have interior quality.
Their interior qualities mostly are not the best. You know that, my brother.
I don't know anything. You are the one saying what you are saying. So I have just
I'll just say that when you're looking at the seats cloths which are used, seats and stuff. Some people don't feel comfortable in them. They prefer the whole leather seats, and you find out a lot more in American vehicles. So that's just my point. You would find a lot more of plastic.
Yeah, clearly a car person.
Very much.
Okay, let's see it up to the last point.
Correct.
Now we are at the very early adoption stage.
Yes.
So we have the very early adopters that are buying these EVs in our country and even on the continent. However, within the next 2 years, there's going to be an explosion. The bellwether year is 2023, but there is going to be an explosion, it's guaranteed. A lot of people who are taking things easy are going to be unpleasantly surprised and depressed at the speed and the scale of the destruction they are going to experience. Now, what we are doing, the charging solutions, and the model we are choosing in particular, means that we need a lot of upfront capital deployment because it's a P&O model. So the initial equipment costs, we are putting it one way or another. Sure, we have the partners, the ECG that are giving you the energy, but a lot of the initial investment, capital investment, is all from your shoulders or from your pocket. Sorry. How is POBAD capitalized? How will you capitalize for that upcoming explosion? Number one, and how are you planning to raise more funds if necessary? Are there a framework in place for that eventuality? Because I know that whatever your resources are now, there is no way you can mix the upcoming explosion.
There's no way we can
meet the upcoming explosion unless we get some more cash.
Okay, so just as I said, POBAD's business model is a win-win for all involved. So, like I said, property owners who allow us to put our chargers on their premises, of course, we do have our arrangements with them. We are again. Sorry.
Are you talking about revenue share arrangement with property owners?
Yes, we do have our revenue share arrangements with the property owners as well. So for those who will, when we approach you, because we know your location is an ideal location for EV drivers who we speak to. To be very honest, some of them are even proposing. Some of the drivers are even proposing particular locations for us to. So when we approach you, definitely there's a revenue that you earn as a property owner from POBAD. In addition, our financing is in a number of ways. All I can say is that there are great opportunities for companies who come on board to push this.
Please make it clear for me, the common people. Companies to come on board, we don't understand companies, it's not capacity. Are we coming as investors or you just bring up a bag of money, you can have it at the in front of POBAD? I mean, it's not capacity. It's about the location, because we need locations so that people who are going to which locations are going to be used, there's a package for them. Look at the investment allocation mentioned for something. The companies, what companies? Charges, I don't know. How do you
Any company which wants to make revenue as the EV industry grows, interested in having own part of our infrastructure is welcome. Now, in that respect, we do have a package for companies who get on board, who don't want to be taken by surprise. Like we have engaged some of the OMCs who have started injecting capital because the business models are very different. This time around, on our type of service, you will be meeting customers right in their homes. So for partners, financial partners, or companies who have come on board and are pushing for the construction of the network, there is great revenue to be made because of our business model. Basically.
So these people, I'm trying to clarify the thing clearly. So let's say if I want to do charging business, I can get in touch with POBAD. And POBAD,
sorry, just to clarify that, you don't necessarily want to do charging business. You can be any individual who has money and cash and wants to invest into charging. You don't necessarily need to be.
Okay, so let's say I have $100,000. I have $100,000.
Yes.
And I want to partake in the EV space.
That's right.
And I don't want to set up my own charging system and all the headaches. But I want to partake. So I can come and see POBAD.
Yes.
Give my 100,000. I'll bring it in a bag.
Yes.
Give it to you.
Transfer it to our account.
No, we are not doing any. We are bringing the cash physically so that you see the money.
I hear
you. You see the money. You know that this is money.
That's right.
$100,000 cash. Then in exchange for something, we sign agreements.
Yes.
Then I become an investor in the business.
Exactly.
Okay, so this is for individuals and organizations.
Yes.
Does that apply to people who are watching this outside Ghana and our country? Somebody in Zimbabwe, Kenya, Uganda, Egypt, Ivory Coast, Togo, Nigeria, Senegal. Does it apply to them, or is it a Ghanaian thing for now?
Okay, so as I said, the great thing about our technology is that because we have a back end we communicate to, we are able to share sales details with those who matter, even if they are in space or in the International Space Center. Okay. Now, if you are in South Africa or you are in Liberia or Senegal and you want to get into it, yes, you will be able to put in your money and you would have daily or weekly reports based on what you want. You'll be able to get those reports for you to know how much revenue you are making each month from the business. Now, every 30 days, 35 or 40 days, that amount of money is transferred into your account and you are good to go. Your investment is good to go. Now, we are growing this network beyond Ghana, to be very honest. We have already begun conversation in Kenya. We have conversation ongoing in Liberia and Sierra Leone. So POBAD is not just targeting Ghana, but then we are looking to be one of the biggest networks, charging networks here in Ghana. So we are the main focus is to do or try as much as possible use citizens of the country to grow their own network within their country. That is part of, our plan. Meaning,
in other words, if you go to a certain country, you want a citizen who is resident in that country.
So people within the country
to register a subsidiary of POBAD, or is it a franchise holder? Which one is it?
No. So POBAD goes in just like, let's say we've done here in Ghana. We go in and do all the integration with the national power company, the banks and all. Anybody who wants to make revenue, who wants to earn from the introduction of the charging service in their country and comes on board just like an investor, like you're saying here in Ghana.
Basically, it's a form of shareholder.
Exactly. It's like a shareholder thing.
Okay.
Yes. So that way, what we call them more is we call them our financial partners. To be very honest, we call them our financial partners. So within that country, the financial partners, of course, own share of the business, and they make revenue, as people use the equipment. Yes. So in that way, what we're saying is that once we are in Ghana, we are trying as much as possible to encourage Ghanaians to spend or use their money to own part of the network. That's basically what we're doing. We're using Ghanaians to do that. The same way when we move into Liberia, we're going to use Liberians to build their network.
Okay.
Yes, that's basically.
One last question. I think our time, we have closed our time. One last question. As a international, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
As a about international dimension, language-wise, your systems, do they take care of francophone people?
Yes.
We are surrounded by francophone. And some people speak Spanish in South Africa.
Exactly. Yeah, so from our back end, we can change the language from our back end. If we install chargers in Senegal, which is a French-speaking country, we can just sit here in Ghana and change the language on all the chargers in Senegal to French. If we find our chargers in Equatorial Guinea, we change it to the Portuguese. I think there. So
wait. What about this instance where I have somebody from Togo who's in Ghana and the person wants to charge, so the person is in transit payment.
Oh, okay. Oh, so you mean
yeah, the individual, like Anglais, Français.
Yes. So exactly. Yes. So what we have a function which lets us know, let's say if it's a customer who purchased, let's say, a prepaid card, and we know the person's preference. When the person goes and taps to start the charging process, if you tap the card, it knows your card and it will quickly change the writings into French.
Okay.
Yes. Quickly change.
However,
the process on a POBAD charger is very quite simple. When you go, it's all on the screen. It's all image. It's all imaging. So you see the charger pointing for you to connect. After you connect, the amount comes up on the screen with the duration, whether you're charging, how many hours it shows, and then the next phase is it requests for you to make payments. And once the payment is done, the charging process begins. It's a 5-way step. Once you are done, you plug back in.
We will demonstrate it. We will test it. We will not rely on what you are saying. We will test it.
Definitely.
For ourselves.
Fantastic.
So, like I said earlier, you guys should look forward to that. We will test whether he's just coming to tell us stories or that's the reality on the ground. And FYI, I've never met Paul before in person. So it's not like a friend of mine that's okay. So Paul, for the making of many books, there is no end. In other words, we must also stop at a point. Because if we don't take care, we can continue, but we have to end at the point. So, thank you very much for your time. I suspect it has been an educational conversation for our audience. And I'm sure, like I said, we both really enjoyed ourselves.
Exactly. Thank you so very much again, Dad. I'm happy to speak it to all your viewers. I continue to say congratulations and good work that you are doing, pushing the EV agenda. It's very important that the message goes out there. Happily, today we can say that the world's richest man is one person who believed in the EV dream. Everyone who is also pushing this agenda is on the right path to a very, very good future. Thank you all, and I wish that I would come back to each one of you again when invited by.
I think we can arrange that. If I will arrange that, I wish my colleagues were around. My colleagues the business. Olukokun, John, Aluora, and Paul. I think they will have drilled you on a lot of things. Well, you cannot have a cake and eat it all the time. So,